Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Gut Reset Summit. I'm your host, Dr. John Dempster, and today I am joined by Debora Wayne. And Debora is a best-selling author and the founder of the International Chronic Pain Institute. She is a world-renowned energy healer whose leading-edge non-drug method, known as HighSpeed Healing, has helped tens of thousands in over 160 countries to rapidly release chronic pain, digestive ailments, trauma, battles with food, chronic fatigue, and many, many other mysterious and chronic conditions. So, Debora, welcome to the Gut Reset Summit. I know today we're going to talk about the high-speed healing solution for a gut that won't heal no matter what you try. We'll get right into it, but I know you have a huge story as to your why and how you got into this type of healing. Can you share that with us today?
Absolutely. Thank you. So my why began with health hell. It was many years ago, over 30 years ago now. And I woke up one morning on the floor of my closet and I couldn't stop crying and I could not get dressed and I could not go to work and I could not fake it one more day that everything was fine. And I had every issue under the sun. My hair was falling out. I had ulcers. I had massive gut issues. I hadn't slept in years without pills, pain, mystery pain all over the place. And I was out of answers and I was out of trying to pretend this was just going to magically disappear somehow. And I had a really shocking experience that day. I screamed out to the ceiling of the closet, to a God that I didn't even believe in at the time. And I said, if there's anything out there, anybody out there, please help me. I can't live like this anymore. And John, I'm telling you, this was really unexpected. But all of a sudden, I was engulfed. My entire closet, there was a presence that was palpable of love, of this amazing unconditional love and peace like I had not known in my whole life. And I stopped crying immediately. And I had an inner sense that everything's going to be okay. And I got up and for the first time in my life, went to the phone and picked up the phone and called someone and asked for help. I was the type of person that was like, oh, I've got this, I'll handle it. I did not ask for help, but at that moment I did. And this was the beginning of a complete turning point in my life. And I went on, I still think it's kind of corny, the term healing journey, but I did. I went on this journey of really discovering who I was deep inside. And I found the roots of all my pains and symptoms and issues. And once I started unpacking all of that, and it was revealed so many things about energy. I started meditating again, and I had these incredible experiences while meditating. And I became aware that the body is nothing more than a mass of vibrating particles of light and energy, and it's all changeable. And this became the foundation of all the work that I do today. And I started to repair, recharge, rejuvenate. My whole body started to change. I became aware of the mental, the physical, the emotional aspects. And this is how I ended up here with you today and helping people all over the world. And, it took time. But it was one revelation after another, most of it revealed during meditation. And then, interestingly enough, 2 decades later, I discovered the new science that validated everything that was revealed to me. And it's all based on principles from physics. So all I can tell you is that the worst of the worst cases can change. And that's why I get so passionate about sharing my work, because it was revealed to me a method of healing that's very rapid, very safe. It doesn't require pills. I was living on pills, John, a pill for everything, to have energy, to go to sleep, to digest, whatever it was. There was just a pill was the answer to my life. I haven't had a pill in 35 years.
Amazing.
So
Wow. What a story and what a journey. And that's probably why you attract so many of these tough, never been solved cases. I'm keen, we're going to get into your methodology, but why is it, do you think, that so many people are stuck and they can't get rid of their chronic digestive issues or their chronic pain? What's going on?
I know exactly what's going on. What's going on is where they're typically very focused only on the physical aspects, the symptoms. They are constantly asked, where does it hurt? Or they do tests that only examine the physical body. And they're not going deep enough, especially the people who have tried everything and nothing's worked. This is a huge indicator that what is going on has to do with habits of thought and habits of emotion. And both of these are a type of energy that, and we know from science, energy has to go somewhere. And if certain thoughts that are very destructive and damaging, and emotions, which can be very damaging, if they're not being released properly, they're going inside and they're coming out sideways as a symptom. And in every case, I don't care what's going on, there's always a mental and an emotional component to all disease. But the people that don't heal, they are particularly looking in the wrong place to solve the puzzle. And that's why I'm able to help so many people who say, finally, I got an answer. Finally, I figured out, they've been trying for decades, many of these people, to figure out what's wrong and can't find it because it's not in the body. It's showing up in the body, but the body isn't the problem.
So these are people that have, run test after test. It's coming back normal.
Yes, right.
Done every treatment, so to speak, and not getting any resolve. Where do you begin? How does this, we're on pins and needles here. We got to hear this. How do you start a treatment with somebody?
Well, when it might sound too simple, but I actually have a conversation with them. First, I ask people to fill out a questionnaire and I ask some questions about their symptoms, but I take it much deeper. And I can even read between the lines when people write to me. I can see how they think. When people speak and people write, their language reveals much more than they realize. And so I start usually, if I'm working one-on-one or in a small group, I start with asking questions. And it's fascinating to discover how, even if I just ask them to describe how it feels in their body, the words that people use will tell the story of their life. And if I take them back to when this all began, their body is telling the story. Their symptoms tell the story of the type of stress and pain and anguish and suffering that they went through, that they either bypassed, ignored, denied, suppressed, repressed. Now, I love to do all of that, but I don't always have the luxury of all of that time. And sometimes I work with very large groups, or I'm speaking at an event and it's an audience and I don't have time to speak with people. This is where the high-speed energy healing is the most rapid, best way to start, because the energy field around the body, it's like a recording device, and it's recorded everything that's ever happened in a person's life. So even if a person can't speak to me, I work with people who've even been in comas or, asleep, or little babies or children that can't talk. You can find in the energy field these disturbed vibrations. I've become so sensitive, I can actually scan the field like an MRI machine and feel where the disturbances are. And so if we don't have time to go into, enough conversation about where I dig for the habits of thought, where I dig for the emotions that never got released properly, I just scan the field. And I can immediately start to sense where I need to work to harmonize the field. And frequencies, all it takes is a simple shift in the frequency, and the energy field shifts and changes. And the field is what's informing the body. This is the key, the new science, the biofield science that is just revolutionary, because the field informs the body. And we look at it the other way around. We're looking, most people go and try to figure out the body. And we need to be looking at the field first, because you can find things 10 years before it even manifests in the body. Wouldn't you want to do that? Right?
It reminds me of a saying that one of my profs used to say. It says, we're energetically driven and biologically carried out. And so
Yes.
if you're not touching on the energetics of things, well, we're going to get on that hamster wheel and we're not going to get off. It's going to be a perpetual non-healing cycle. So
Exactly. And this is even the people who have done tests and been told, oh, you have XYZ. Take this, do this. And they follow these protocols to a T. I'm sure you've seen this. And nothing changes. Now, what is wrong with this picture? It's because we're not addressing something that's hidden that probably won't show up on a test, that's too subtle energetically, that's in the field, though, and can be detected in the field. And it's still informing the body, but it's not, it's not a dense enough vibration to show up physically yet.
So I think, I want to break this down because there's going to be a lot of very scientifically minded people listening in today. And I know you and I understand that there's a connection here between biology and biochemistry, but
Yeah.
how can we shed light on this right away for any of those skeptics that are out there right now? Like, is this a spirituality treatment? Is this an energetic treatment? How would you break this down to those that are very logically, linearly thinking?
Well, you really could look at this both ways. What I've come to understand is both science and spirituality, they're saying the same thing in a different language. And we're finally coming together in this day and age. So if you're into science, great, this is for you. But if you're more into the spiritual, this will also work for you. It doesn't require any belief. It's like saying, facts are facts. If you drop an apple off the top of a building, it's going to drop and fall. Okay, that's just fact. And whether you understand or believe anything about this, it will still have an effect. Because think of your cell phone. I mean, how many of us really truly understand how
Mhm.
all of it, right? There are sound waves, right? This is very similar. In fact, it is sound waves. Some people will actually even hear different sound. I do when I'm working on people. I can hear sounds and tones, and they change. So similar to a television where you can turn on 15 different channels, you change the frequency, and you get an entirely different story and picture. I'm helping people change the channel
Mhm.
of their body's story by changing the frequency in the field. I am connected. We all are, but most people don't know it. I'm able to connect 24/7 and bring in these healing frequencies that are, hate to tell you, folks, free energy. They are free. It's free energy. And it carries information, and all of nature is thriving on this. This is why you feel so good when you go outside in nature. The planet itself emits a frequency that we need to stay in balance. We need the vibrations from the sun and the light. All of this is nature. We've just been taught to rely on outer technology. And what was shown to me early on in my early days of this was I needed to develop inner technology, and that this was the future. That when we develop our inner technology, we will understand better what's happening here and how to change the body using this free energy. Does that make sense?
Well, I think so. I'm kind of looking at it like this is the software to run the hardware. Is that
You got it.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
We need
like that.
both. We need both.
We
But you need
do.
to have that imprint, within you to drive everything else to move forward. Yeah, that's very powerful. Thank you. Now, I know a lot of people right now are thinking, okay, how does this fast healing method help me with IBS or with
Right.
IBD or Crohn's or colitis? How is that practical to those with gut issues? And I know you've got an answer for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is so many people I work with are suffering. I mean, dramatic. I'll give one example. A woman, Sharon, many years ago, I worked with her. She had for 9 months, she'd been, no matter what she ate, she would have continuous vomiting and diarrhea, and nothing was showing up in the tests. And they had no clue. They tried everything under the sun, all the common, elimination diets and water fast, everything, and pills and supplements. And they wanted to do surgery, and she was terrified of that. So somehow she found me. And I worked on her one time, John, in less than an hour. No symptoms, all of the symptoms stopped. Never had a bout of diarrhea or vomiting again. Went back overnight to eating anything and everything, traveling again. I mean, this ruined her life. She couldn't leave the house. What we discovered in the healing session, she started sobbing. She had no idea that she had a lot of pent up emotions and hurts from different situations and people in her life that she had been storing up and storing up. And you have to understand the gut is the emotional center, and it's processing, it's trying to digest our life. And so, yes, often it has to do with food, but many times it does not. But when you bring in harmonious vibrational frequencies, what is out of tune gets in tune. And with real healing, just like it happens with homeopathy and acupuncture, you will have a purging of what is poison to you. It will come up and move out. And that's what happens here. And in her case, the poison was emotional poison. She had no clue, no conscious clue of it. And this came up, it started moving, and she goes back into harmony like that. That's why we renamed the method HighSpeed Healing. Many, many, many people, if you have any type of gut issue, there's a tension and a stress. And I know if you're suffering, you know what I mean. You walk around like a twisted rope inside, and your gut feels everything. Or maybe you even know or been told you're too sensitive. Anybody ever been told that? Many people that I work with gut issues, they're very open and very loving and very kind people, and they feel everyone else's emotions, and they feel sorry for people, and they take it home with them. John, this totally upsets the gut and the ability to digest. Any type of stress really affects digestion, elimination, and the gut, because you are trying to ward off. Most people, they try to stop and ward off the stress, but really what they're doing is they're internalizing it. And the gut is the first place that tries to process this. Not only that, all the energy that it takes to hold emotions down, hold them in. And we live in a world that says, oh, don't bring your emotions to work. Or if you're a male, especially, you're going to look weak. It looks immature. So everybody's putting on this happy face and trying to be, politically correct and professionally correct. And they're suppressing all these emotions. This is the center that holds all of it. So it shows up in different ways, and it's given different labels according to the ways, but different personalities tend to attract different expressions. And when I work in the field, one of the first things that happen, people say, oh my God, I feel something happening in my belly. I hear rumbling. They can sense what's changing, and it starts harmonizing. I've had such severe cases of people who cannot leave the house and can't eat a thing. And that was my case as well. I mean, I was living on water, and I joke about it, but people living on water and broccoli, but you can't live like this. And eventually it starts to harmonize. I've even seen people with heavy metals and viruses and fungus, candida, lots of, bacterial, the whole microbiome. You have to understand all of this is affected by the outer world that we're taking in. And the microbiome is a reflection of our thoughts and our own emotions. It's not just food. So this starts to harmonize the entire being, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and it works simultaneously on all these levels.
Debora, as I'm listening, I'm thinking, like, do you have the same impact with every type of person, or do you find that there's different caricatures or archetypes of different types of people that are more receptive. Like you are very energetically receptive. Does this type of therapy only work on people like yourself that are more in tune?
That's a really great question. That's a very great question. You know what's interesting? Sometimes the people who are most like me or who are health and healing practitioners, I work on a lot of practitioners, even energy healers,
Mm,
and many other people who are very aware of all of this, and they are often the toughest
mm,
because they either know too much or they're comparing. They're not as open. You know what? It's fascinating. But someone who knows nothing about this, who they can be as skeptical as they want. They say, it happens all the time. My mother is forcing me to do this. My wife is forcing me to do this. And they roll their eyes and like, let's just do it and see what happens. They often have the most profound effects. They're not expecting anything. They're not wondering if it's going to work. They're just, let's just get it over with. So what I find is that there are certain personality types that might manifest and express certain conditions. But this will work on anyone. And the only thing that gets in the way are the thoughts.
mhm.
You can't block this. But the thinking mind, you know, I've seen many people where they have a session with me and they go, like, for example, many people I work with have fibromyalgia and they've been in constant pain for 20, 30 years, and they've been told there's nothing that can be done for them. And they leave in an 1, 2, 3 sessions. They're completely pain free,
Wow.
but their mind can't accept it.
Hmm.
And so what they will do is they will keep looking for it and thinking about it. And they'll use these habits they'll actually bring it back. Their familiar zone is actually more comfortable.
Right.
So I have to teach people some new tricks in order to really be able to accept health, wellness.
Well, some people have been sick for so long, that is their identity. And that's how they get attention and that's how they feel themselves. As strange as it sounds, some people don't know how to get well. And yeah, you bring up a good point.
That's exactly what I find. And once people have this discovery, I have to help them through. That's why I recommend people have a series of sessions because they start to move into a comfort zone and stabilize in
Mm,
a way that's not new normal for them. It's a new normal, and they need a new normal. But many people will run back to shore because we're creatures of habit. We like the familiar. We don't move anything. Um, let's
sure.
keep it right. So we have to get used to a new normal. And sometimes it's harder for people to feel good because it's like you said, they're not used to it.
Well, I know you've got a special treat for us today. You're going to walk us through one of your treatments, I believe. Is that right?
I am. I'm going to do a short demo. This is only a short demo, but many people,
Yes.
even with a short demo, will actually experience healing results, benefits. Sometimes the first benefit is people sleep for the first time in years. And when the value of sleep and the gut and all, how everything's so related to calming the
Mhm.
gut down and recharging your body and getting that restoration that we need. So I'm going to walk everyone through a demo. If you would please, no driving, no operating equipment or machinery. I want you sitting down or lying down, even better. And it's very simple. I'm going to give you some instructions. I'm going to ask you first to just close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, just stare down at the floor and know that you're going to be completely aware and in control. You could stop at any time if you wish. You're going to be completely safe. But I want you to lie down or lie back and get comfortable and take a deep breath in through your nose and then open your mouth and let out a big sigh and just feel how your exhale helps you start to relax. I want you to breathe into your low belly. Draw that breath into your low belly and then exaggerate your exhale with a big sigh. Good. Do that one more time as you listen to the sound of my voice, and then just return to normal, natural, easy, effortless breathing. In and out through your nose the way you normally breathe. And I want you to let the weight of your body just melt like butter on a hot summer day. And I want you to let me do all the work. There's nothing for you to do here. Do not try to help me in any way. I want you to observe what's happening without trying to change what's happening. Even if some kind of pain comes up for you, just allow. Remember, it's just energy that's now starting to move. I'm going to be helping stir up and move out energy that's been stuck inside you that's causing problems. So if you feel things, you might notice different sensations in different parts of your body. You may have pain start to come up. Let it come up. It's the old energy that's coming up and moving out. Your body may actually start to move. Some people flip and flop and move and twitch the whole time. So if your body starts moving involuntarily, I want you to let it move. Or if you feel the urge to move in any way, follow every single urge to move and let your body be free. Your spine and your whole body might readjust. Just to follow that, let that happen. If it does. Now remember, you cannot do this wrong. You can't do it wrong. You will not do it wrong. And you cannot block the healing frequencies that I bring in. So let your mind just relax about everything and just keep observing, like you're at the movies and you're watching and you're listening and you're feeling feelings, but you're not trying to change the movie. Now, you may actually see colors, images, shapes, lights, even with your eyes closed. Just pay attention to that, but don't try to figure anything out. I'll explain that after we finish. You may hear sounds, voices, words, music, tones. It may come internally, you might hear it internally, or it may sound external. Just listen. Don't try to figure it out. Just listen, observe, notice. You might feel pressure in the head. It's very, very common. And it's a sign you're feeling the frequencies and the contrast between your normal vibration and the vibration that you need right now. So don't let that alarm you. It's very safe. If it gets really quiet inside you and it seems like nothing's happening, that's okay too. Sometimes that's exactly what happens. You'll get what you need, and you will not get more than you can handle. You may have thoughts and memories come into your mind. Just let them come up if they do. You may have emotions bubble up. And I want you to remember it's just energy. Let that come up. Let any and all emotional energy bubble up. Just keep observing, noticing, allowing whatever is happening to happen. And don't try to figure it out. There's nothing for you to fix or figure out. And do your best not to judge any of it as good or bad or right or wrong. Just experience whatever you're experiencing. Now we're going to take 1 minute, just 1 minute of complete silence. And you'll hear my voice when it's time to come back. Very, very slowly. Become aware of the sound of my voice and all the sounds around you. And just begin to deepen your breathing and feel yourself becoming more alert, more awake, more aware, and staying very, very relaxed. Take a deep, long breath in and out now. Again, take another deep, long breath in and out, and feel yourself coming all the way back, wide awake, alert, refreshed, and relaxed. And slowly open your eyes, coming all the way back now. Mm.
Wow.
What did you experience?
Ooh, I was gone.
Love it. I'm always worried I'm going to lose the host.
Well, I was like, for a second, I was like, just don't fall off the chair. Just fall off the No, I could see how that is. If you do that on a regular basis, I could see how that releases a lot of stuff, right? And we all have it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a practitioner,
Oh,
we've all got it.
absolutely.
Ooh,
We've all,
I've
we
got
all,
like this warmth around me right now, like just all over. Yeah,
I love that. I'm
interesting.
so glad. You looked relaxed. You
Well,
know,
thank you for that. That's a gift.
you're very welcome. And I just want people to know that if you still feel, just from a short demo, it sets up a chain reaction, and like a time released capsule, it will continue for the next 24 hours. Many of you might experience things. So if you feel tired, rest. The session will probably, if you lie back down, it will probably continue working on you even right now. If you feel super energized, go, but don't overdo it. And really just listen closely to your body. The next 24 hours, you may have a purging, even many detox symptoms for some people. So don't be alarmed by that. Know that you're getting rid of poison that you no longer need, and enjoy the energy as it comes back. And you create the space for this and for the healing and the recovery.
How often do you recommend that?
I like to work with people once a week for a month, and then everyone's case is different, but some people will continue working for, a 3-month period is a beautiful time frame to really ingrain a deep new normal that just becomes normal.
Mhm.
So in my group, people stay for typically 3 months. Some people stay a year or longer because they just love getting a tune up. Some people come back once a year for a tune up, but usually after 1 to 3 months, people have a new sense of life.
And you can do this
And
virtually.
I do it all virtually. I don't work in person anymore unless I'm at a live event. I actually closed my office 7 years ago and started working virtually, and it has just the same impact. People are comfortable, they're at home in their own bed or, comfortable setting. So it's actually better for people.
I love it. Well, thank you. That was I felt that, and I hope everyone listening did too. It's just imagine
Glad.
doing that. It's almost like giving yourself like an 8-minute hug, and doing that over and over again. I think that's good.
And when I work with my VIP clients or in my groups, I do a personalized recorded healing session, and people can use this at home and they can take it with them if they travel. And there's a cumulative effect. So many people right away start to experience a lot of positive benefits, really within the first one or two sessions. And then over time, that's when the real, you
Hmm.
know, the restoration kicks in and people transcend. They don't even recognize themselves. So it's such a pleasure. Thank you for letting me share this today.
Well, Deborah, thank you so much. Where can we find you online to learn more about you and reach out if we need to?
You'll find me at internationalcpi.com. And please reach out. You'll see all the services offered there. We answer every email. So if you have any questions or need more information, please reach out. It would be a pleasure to help.
Well, it's been a real pleasure having you on today on the Gut Reset Summit. So thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for that. I'm still buzzing from it, and
You might be buzzing for a while. I'm glad to hear it. Happy for you.
I really appreciate your insights and your techniques today. So thanks again.
Thank you, John.